The following is an exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the National Football League. On this episode of the Panthers Huddle, the preseason is now over. Coach Dave Canales talks tough decisions and what he's looking for as the team finalizes the roster. Plus, a special mic'd-up edition of this week's Rewind. Welcome inside the Panthers Huddle.
Welcome to the Panthers Huddle. Alongside Panthers legend Thomas Davis, I'm Anish Shroff. We're getting close to the start of the regular season now. Preseason is in the books. It's not going to be that long before we actually have real meaningful football to react to.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. A lot of hype coming into this season. We know preseason was a little struggle, but we got to see a lot of good things out of this roster. Some of the guys that we've been paying attention to showed up in a big way, and we feel like there's a few guys, Anish, that we need to see more out of as the season gets ready to start.
Yeah, and we'll get into all that. But for starters, if you're a fan, I get it, right? You watch the preseason games, that's what you see, that's what you go off of. The coaches, us inside the building, you see the practices, you see the joint practices with opposing teams. How do you evaluate preseason?
Listen, when you have an opportunity to have joint practices against other teams, you want to see when the lights are not on, when everybody is out there competing at a high level, how do your guys show up? And that's one of the things that I know that our coaches are taking away from having those joint practices and these guys having the opportunity to compete against Cleveland, going down to Houston, competing against those guys throughout the week. You evaluate those guys in a totality, not just about the preseason games. And in fact, what I've learned, coaches tend to take a little bit extra off of the game once you practice against a team over the course.
Why is that?
I think because you've seen enough from the guys over the course of the week. You know, you see these guys go against other guys. You see them go and compete against guys that they haven't competed against. And you see them show up and you see how they show up. And that's one of the reasons why coaches don't play certain guys at an extensive amount of time during those preseason games. So, and I think that's one of the reasons why, if you look back over those preseason games, why we didn't get the kind of production that we really thought that we were going to get. But at the end of the day, it's go time now, Anish.
Yeah, and now the challenge for the coaching staff and the front office is getting that roster down to 53.
Not going to be easy.
Full flight. It's not going to be as full going to Jacksonville, but what's that like when, you know, you're a guy who knows your role on the team and you've been in that role, but you're watching guys turn their playbook in and you know for a lot of them the dream ends when they do.
Listen, this is the toughest part of the NFL season, when you had the opportunity to be around guys for months, sometimes for years, and now this is the end of their cycle. This is the end of their, like you talked about, their NFL careers for some of them. And a lot of guys that we have on this roster will have the opportunity to go and join other rosters. You know, that's the good part about the way that we went out and done things over the course of the draft and over the course of free agency. We brought in some really good quality players that are going to have opportunities on the other team. It's just unfortunate that once you have to break the roster down, you have to get to a certain number, but it's going to be a lot of tough decisions, like we said.
And a lot of it depends on who's available, who's out there, guys who might be acquired via trade. We saw last year, Mike Jackson turned into a really good piece.
He did.
He was acquired after the final preseason game for a 7th-round pick. We'll see if Dan Morgan has another move like that up his sleeve.
Listen, Dan Morgan is willing and dealing, and he's doing a great job with this roster, and I have no doubt that we're going to get the best men available for this football team, and we're going to go into Jacksonville at full strength as long as we're able to get through the few weeks and days that we have until we get to Jacksonville.
You know, you bring up Jacksonville, that's the Panthers' Week 1 opponent, and it just feels, given how last year ended with the arrow pointing up, boy, a strong start, 1-0 would mean so much, especially when you consider the last 3 years where the Panthers have gotten off to rough starts. 1-0 feels massive if the Panthers can win that opener.
Listen, it's going to be huge because that's one of the things you want to do. You don't want to lose that momentum that you had ending last season. You want to be able to build off of that. And I think that's one of the things that this football team has really preached. We've talked about, everybody's talked about it on the outside with all the moves that we've made. But it's very important, even though we're going on the road playing against Jacksonville, we have to go out there and we have to assert ourselves as a football team, and we have to show the National Football League that this Panthers team is much different than the previous teams. But it also has to be something that these guys do for themselves. Yep. It's not just about showing the fan base. They have to prove to themselves that they're capable of going on the road in a hostile environment and coming away with a tough, gritty win.
We'd love to see that week 1 against Jacksonville. And one of the things I'm sure you guys have seen over the years is when the Panthers go on the road or they're playing at home, sometimes during a game, a player's wearing a mic. You've worn a mic before, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what is the number one thing you have to do when you're the guy that's mic'd up during a game?
Listen, you got to let other guys know. You got to let people know that you're the police, that you're the narc. You got to let it be known.
I might do that game.
Thank you. See,
Yeah.
hey, this is a real QB right here.
An 11-year-old Chase Murray understood the assignment. Here's this week's Bojangles Rewind.
You locked in? You locked in?
You.
Always. Gotta stay locked in so you don't gotta get locked in. It's a beautiful day to be mic'd up.
I better see some.
You is gonna see some.
I must see. I better see some.
You is.
I better see some.
You is.
Doing the things you love to do, man. You gotta love this, man.
What's up, lil' bro?
What up, little bro?
Yeah.
I'm mic'd up.
You mic'd up?
Yeah.
Okay, superstar. What's your name?
Chase Murray.
Sage?
Chase Murray.
Chase Murray. My name's Cam. I go by Icky though, man. Good to see you. Good to see you.
I'm mic'd up. I'm mic'd up. Bryce Young. It's my first time meeting celebrities.
Oh yeah, too. Oh my God!
I told him I like that.
Come on, come on. Oh, say that. Play, boy. Play. All right, thank y'all. I want to say thank y'all for Coach Canales. Thank y'all for being supportive to us. Y'all getting better, we getting better. We just want to say I appreciate y'all, man. All Panthers on one. 1, 2, 3, Panthers!
Coming up, Coach Canales is here as the team gets ready to finalize the roster and kick off the regular season on the Panthers Huddle. This exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers Television Network is brought to you in part by Bank of America, the official bank of the Carolina Panthers.
We're here with Panthers head coach Dave Canales. This is the calm before the storm. So what happens from now until week 1 from your viewpoint?
Yeah, just a lot of evaluation. And of course, we have the most information on the guys we watch on a daily basis at practice and with our games to kind of see what comes alive, to see who can help us. But this process, for Dan and I, is to go through and to challenge our roster against our own guys and then challenge our roster against the other 31 teams to see who's out there, who can help us. And, I'll always go back to this, we're watching all the special teams reps. We're watching guys cover kicks, who can block, who can return a kick, who can do all these different things. And we have to kind of compare this big group of people, 90-man roster, 32 teams, that's a lot of guys, a lot of men that are trying to pursue their dreams. And so there's a lot to go through, a lot of conversations to be had. And we have some great competition in a couple of our rooms too. So some really difficult decisions, but some exciting decisions for the Panthers.
I'm guessing there's going to be some guys who, when they take the field Thursday, it'll be the last time they take the field in an NFL game. What's it like for you to have those conversations, knowing what might be next or not knowing what might be next for some of those guys?
Yeah, it's a lot of love and respect for the hard work that goes into chasing a dream, and for a lot of these guys, they've always dreamed about playing in the NFL, and I promised them going into training camp, as long as they're healthy, that dream's going to come true. You're going to play on an NFL field, whether it's preseason or not. To me, it doesn't matter. It's about the opportunity. And we regard these opportunities so highly for our players. You know, the work that goes in with the coaching staff, the training staff, the strength staff, everybody involved, you know, in particular these men who are just putting themselves out there vulnerably for a lot of people to scrutinize what they're doing. And so for me, these meetings it's always bittersweet. This whole training camp, this whole preseason, you know, it's wanting to make sure that they understand how we know this opportunity is so important for them. And then the gratitude of the hard work it takes to throw a great camp. It takes everybody, you know, to have a balanced practice. It takes all 90 guys. And so we're really just committed to each other in that. And, you know, at the end of it, you know, I do get a little bit sad just about there's so many people, so much energy. And as we start to reduce our roster, it just feels like a ghost town, you know, for a little bit. But then it allows us to kind of see, guys, look, now it's just us. And we have this new mission in front of us.
When it comes to the practice squad, what determines or what are the determining factors on who you select for the practice squad? Yeah,
first and foremost, they got to be a fit for us. So we've gathered a lot of information about how hard they play, our play style, you know, great effort, enthusiasm, and toughness, you know, playing smart and finishing plays. You know, that's who we are. So we're looking for guys that embody those kind of characteristics. And then from there, do they have developmental traits, offense and defense? And then, of course, can this person help us on special teams? Because the practice squad call-ups are real, you know, and every year that I've been in the NFL that we've allowed practice squad call-ups, people come up and play for us and they help us. But those guys typically aren't coming in to play a starting role, you know, in different phases. First and foremost, they got to be able to play special teams, and then they can help us in a backup role in different situations.
Once week one rolls around, you don't have very many weekends free. So you have maybe a couple of weekends here to work with. What does that look for Dave Canales, the father, the husband, not the head coach?
Yeah, Lizzie and I are basically divide and conquer. You know, we have 4 kids, and you know, we got a soccer tournament this weekend. You know, Ben, my son's got, you know, a jamboree for his middle school football team. We have soccer for the littles coming up too. So it's kind of just being able to prioritize, okay, who goes where did you go last, so that we can make a presence and an impact with each other, and then just find moments to slow it down, to have dinner, to go to church, you know, to be able to really connect, you know, on the eve of going into the season that's going to require a lot of their dad, you know, and each other, and really my wife, you know, continuing to, you know, get everybody where they need to get to. And so these are some really important times for us.
And then when does game planning really begin in earnest for week one?
It's ongoing, you know, so we've introduced different things, you know, just kind of, you know, looking towards week one while not having all of our emphasis be there. But these have been ongoing conversations so that we can hit the ground running and be ready to kind of attack different situations and game planning that way. But it also helps to know like who your guys are going to be, you know, and we feel pretty good about most of it, you know, but there are still a couple of guys that could potentially help us in ways to figure out how to get them a part of our game plans.
All right, the big decisions coming up when the rosters get trimmed to 53.
I mean, I think it's easy to kind of fall into that and be like, you know, I've kind of proven myself, but I try not to think about that because it's a new year every year, and they're, you know, everyone in the league will say it. I mean, they're trying to replace you every single year. So if I don't get any better, then I'm getting worse. So I'm going to continue to work hard and improve myself again and again and again and again, and however many times it takes.
I didn't even know I was the oldest till one day Coach had brought it up in the meeting. He's like, how old are you? 27. Nick talking about 20 years old. I'm like, hey, I'm looking around. I'm the oldest dude in here. They call me old head now. I'm like, bro, I'm not even old. I'm 27, and I still got a long way to go. But
up next, get to know a Carolina guy living out his NFL dream in his home state on the Panthers Huddle. Closed captioning for the Panthers Television Network is provided by Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates, providing premier eye and ENT care to North and South Carolina.
for those of you that don't know, Rico actually grew up in North Carolina. He's a North Carolina kid. So, Rico, talk to us a little bit about what it means to you to be able to come back and play for your home state.
It means a lot, honestly, you know, getting back here in Carolina. Went to college at South Carolina, so played there, but doing it on the biggest level right here in the NFL. Dream since a little kid just to be in the NFL. Definitely just a blessing to be able to get back here in front of the home state, in front of family and friends, and go show the world.
Well, we're definitely excited to have you. So you have the opportunity to tandem up with Chuba Hubbard. What is that like for you, being able to go and come in and play with a back like Chuba, and how has that relationship developed so far?
Yeah, since day one, before I even got here, he reached out to me and told me, it's going to be a great season. He coming off his best season, and I'm coming off my best season. So two in the backfield at once is going to be hard for a defense to stop that all 4 quarters, and for sure. And then, but just overall, me and him got a great relationship. Iron sharp as iron. We feed off each other, and looking forward to getting out there in the season and seeing what we can do with it.
Well, that's awesome. Like, just being here and having the opportunity to watch you as you played in Bank of America Stadium last year, unfortunately for the Dallas Cowboys, is that something that you kind of thought about when you made your decision to come here, seeing the success that you was able to have and knowing that you have the opportunity to have 8 or 9 games right here in Bank of America Stadium? Did that play a part in your decision?
Nah, that didn't play a part. The game that we played against them during the season, but what did play a part, just opportunity and speaking with my agents and figuring out what the best opportunity and the next step for me was. But and then looking at their O-line and Coach Canales, he loves to run the ball, and they O-line, they heavily invested in it here. So, and it opened up for Chuba. So definitely get back there behind that line, that great O-line they got.
Do you take pride in catching the ball out of the backfield, blocking? Like, what are some of the things that you enjoy to do as a running back?
Like you said, I take pride in it all, honestly. I like to be every down back. I like to look at myself as an every down back, being out there first, second, and third. So that involves it all, running it, catching it, blocking, doing whatever. So I like to look at myself as an every down, take pride in it all, enjoy doing it.
What are some of the things that you feel like you'll be able to benefit from having a guy like Chuba along with you? And I'm pretty sure that Coach Canales is going to figure out a way to get you guys on the field at the same time, which is going to be special as well.
But like you said, just going out there, splitting it up, having them 2 or 3 guys, I mean, it's going to allow you mainly to stay fresh. And then I think that's the main thing, just staying fresh and being able to go out there and be explosive every play you out there, and then make it hard on the defense. 4 quarters, once you rotating through guys like that, 2, 3 backs is going out there at fresh, and just make it hard on the defense for 4 quarters, I feel like.
What are some of the things that you feel like you can offer from a leadership standpoint, being that this is a fairly young team?
For me, myself, I'm the oldest guy in the running back room for the first time in my
crazy,
career.
right?
Yeah, for the first time in my career. But just, you know, I haven't really been like a vocal leader. Like, that's just not me. I just always led by example, go out there, put the work in each and every day. But just in the running back room for us, so just giving pointers and tips to the guys in there, what I seen, because I've seen it so many times, and just helping coach them guys up, the younger guys, on how to do certain things, like what you're looking for, and then that's how I lead. But other than that, I just go out there and lead by example.
So you had the opportunity to go against that defense last year.
Yeah.
And, you know, you had some success, like we talked about. But this is an entirely new season. This is a new defense. What are some of the differences now from this new defense that we put together versus the one that you went against last year? What are some of the things that you see that stands out to you from this new defense?
Well, last year when we played, they didn't have 95 out there when we played them last year. So that's one of the main things. Hard, them guards, inside guards, they got to reach him and get him. That's the main difference, 95 and how they planted up front.
So much improved front, as you see. Rico is a man that can really speak to that. We're definitely excited to have you in Carolina.
Appreciate you.
After the break, Anish and TD shine a spotlight on what the team needs to start the season on the Panthers Huddle.
Welcome back to the Huddle. It is time for our Coke Spotlight. TD, we are at the end of preseason. What is in your crosshairs?
Listen, going into the regular season, I think my Coke Spotlight, without a doubt, is the health of this football team. I think that's the most important thing for us right now. We have to make sure that when we show up in Duval, we have an entire roster of guys, in particular our starters, that are healthy and ready to go. And if we have that, without a doubt, Anish, I have no doubt that we're going to be victorious in that football game. As long as we have the overall health of our football team, solid. As long as these guys go into this game ready and healthy and good enough to play, ain't no doubt in my mind, Anisha.
I'm looking at third down, but really first down. So the Panthers had their struggles on third down defensively last year. Teams were about 50% against Carolina, but that all stemmed from giving up more than 6 yards per play on first down. If we can get better on first down, and that means stopping the run, a lot of resources were put into being better up front on the defensive line, at the edge positions. You've got Roseboom and Trevin Wallace in the middle. If you can cut that number from 6 to 4, that opens up the defensive playbook on second and third down, as you know, and really, it's a lot easier to defend 3rd and 7 than it is 3rd and 2.
Really, you really want to get it under 4. You want to get it to 2.5, 3 yards. If you can get it to that range and make sure that teams are in third and long, that gives that rush a chance to get after the quarterback.
That does it for this episode of The Huddle. When we come back, we get to really dive in and preview our Week 1 matchup.
Looking forward to it, but until then, keep pounding.
You've been watching the Panthers Huddle, a copyrighted presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL.